And we're back with another edition of the CMB Sports Show. We're right before Cole has a pretty fun weekend, so we'll dive into that and let him talk about a pretty cool experience he's got going on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's got our boy Chase. Everybody knows Chase. He was on the show about probably a month ago, taking him on his batch trip up to Boston. Get to watch the Yankees Red Sox 2 games in a row, Friday, Saturday. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully domination by the Yankees, because it would just be great to see vibes down in Red Sox in Boston. But also for Chase, maybe we'll split and everybody gets appeased.
I doubt it. I think the Red Sox have won like 8 games since June 1st. So yeah. They have like the reverse. The Orioles are like 23-8 since June 1st or July 1st, and the Red Sox are like 8-24. Basically, since everyone started commenting on my Facebook post saying that just wait till the playoffs. Basically, since then, the Red Sox have been the worst team in all of baseball.
Congratulations, everybody! You jinxed yourself. You played yourself.
The almighty Red Sox.
I love it. But what's up with you? What you got going on?
I actually just upgraded the setup here today. We've had an old dresser sitting in the garage for a while. It came from Kaylee's house. We used it in our first house, and then when we moved in here, we really just didn't have any use for it. And so I just took it and I just cut all the drawers out of it, made it into a desk. So now I'm just a chair away from basically having a decent setup. I moved some things around too. I'm against the wall now. I'm not just facing into the opening, so it feels more official.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to have a good space. If you want to, race car drivers have a good setup. You know what I mean? It's the same thing, same principle. You're going to perform your best in your own kind of setup.
I'm just trying to catch up to you. I know you've got the dual screen and the whole 9 going on, so I'm just trying to catch up.
I work here though, you know what I mean? So it was all funded by somebody else.
Yeah, that would be nice.
It was oh yeah. Pretty much. They just don't know it. We're not gonna mention their name either.
Not even gonna give them a shout out. No free shout outs.
Nope. Not at all. But definitely looking forward to this weekend. It's gonna be sick. I was hoping to see Garrett because it would be cool to see Garrett Cole throw BP to Devers live, but I think we're getting Herman and Montas or whatever his name. What's the new guy's name?
Yeah, Montas. Well, you're gonna get BP anyways if your Mon's throwing, so you're gonna get your wish. Like, but who's gonna pitch for the Red Sox?
Evaldi, dude, it's gonna be. I don't know where. I can't remember. One game we're sitting in the outfield, and one game we're sitting up like behind like the third base dugout. And I hope Evaldi throws that when we're in the outfield and it against German, because we might catch all of the home runs.
Unless it just has that. Like, all I can think of with Evaldi is just his playoff performance against us, where he was just sitting like 101 right on the black.
Yeah.
Like a filthy slider, and he was just untouchable. So I have scars from that.
That was once, though, I don't know if he's ever really repeated it. But I'm with you. I'm with you.
You won't be seeing Garrett Cole. You won't see Garrett Cole. But also, you won't be seeing Chris Sale, who just refuses to play for the Boston Red Sox.
That dude, it's like borderline sus now, right? Like, it's sus.
Yeah, I think they're covering something up at this point.
He breaks his hand and he goes he's riding the bike on the road. What are you doing, dude? Idiot.
The guy that punches the like a locker every other week broke his hand riding a bike. Like, come on.
So does he have 2 broken hands right now?
I thought I saw he had broken hands and like broken ribs or something.
Because he broke his pinky. He was out because he broke his pinky because he got hit.
Yeah.
And so 2 broken hands now. That's embarrassing.
Also, if you hear some stomping going on, we were recording this before bedtime for my daughter, and there is no controlling her. So it is what it is.
No worries. And you have like a deer living upstairs too.
Yeah, it could be my dog or my daughter, either one.
Well, I guess let's get into it. We got a pretty fun setup for you guys today.
Big baseball episode today.
So I'm going to go ahead and get this up.
We're going to do a tier list to start, and then we'll do some power rankings. We're going to add power rankings into like our weekly segments. You know, maybe do team totals for college football on like Sundays, and then maybe midweek baseball on like Wednesdays, and just do a weekly power rankings, keep everybody up to date on our top 10 teams.
Mm-hmm. All right. I believe we are ready to go.
Okay,
again,
so how should we...
This is just to start off, this is super visual. So if you're on the pod right now, I'd switch over to the YouTube if you wanted to get the full effect. Go ahead.
We have S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and D tier. So basically, I would say S tier is going to be like your World Series front runners, and then maybe
Definitely.
A tier is like
you're going to win, win your division. You know,
could get hot,
make the playoffs. Yeah.
Okay. B's middle of the road, and C is like below average, and D will be like sell the team.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, let's get into it. First
it is
team.
Baseball, you know.
That's right.
Like your S tier teams aren't guaranteed to win it.
That's right. Anybody, I mean, it's the complete opposite of college football. It's anybody's game once you make it to the playoffs. With 14.
Who are we starting with? Yeah.
Let's go. I guess we'll just go down the line. Start with the Angels.
Angels, I'm going to say there's.
They have two, top players in the world. I'm not really sure what their record is. I don't think it's good. They're not going to make the wild card. But
they are 48 and 63.
That's crazy. I was going to say I really wouldn't want to face them for one game. Dude, they might be a C tier team.
I think they are C tier. They are 23 games behind the Astros.
That's awful. And they have two of the best players in the league. They have an MVP.
Arguably the two.
Astros, I think this one's pretty easy. I think they're S tier. They have been for a while.
Yeah, they're S tier. They're in that top 4.
They just have dudes who rake, and they pitch it pretty well too. And they just got it going on. It's just like the golden era. I mean, they're just competitive every year, and it helps that their division is just awful.
Yeah, it's even like their division. Well, I guess it is pretty bad, but like the Mariners aren't a bad team for most of the year.
No, yeah, they're definitely on the come up, but just all in all, I would say it's probably the second or third worst division like in baseball. Just all in all,
I would agree.
Right there with the NL Central and the AL Central.
Yeah, both Centrals. They're 35 and 17 at home.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty dominant.
Yeah. Next one's Oakland A's. I think this is sell the team. Get out of Oakland. Rebrand. I don't know. Just awful. I mean, they've dealt everybody away. Yeah, no kidding.
Go to
Toronto
Vegas,
Blue Jays.
Go to Vancouver.
Vegas would be cool for a team, I think. I mean, they already have football and hockey.
To me, the Blue Jays are a low-end A-tier team.
See, I think so too. They have a very strong border, so they already have an up on you if you're not vaccinated. So I guess their home field advantage would probably be the strongest.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, it's backed by law. But they rate too. Like they hit well, they pitch well, they have a really good roster. Like they could be. I'm not really sure what's going on, but they could be an S tier team. Why they're not, I don't really know. I know they have some injuries, but nothing like super crazy. But yeah, I think they're like a low A team.
They're 26 and 29 on the road, so that probably doesn't help.
It's that home field advantage.
Which they're only 60 and 50. I mean, they're 2 games up on the Orioles.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely a top 10 team, without a doubt. Instead of 2 games up on the Orioles.
Yeah, Orioles and the Rays.
Yeah, Braves up next. Personally, I don't think they're S tier. I think there's a pretty substantial difference between those S tier and the A tier. But I do think they're probably one of the best A tier teams.
Yeah, I think they are the best A tier team that there is. So you can put them in front of the Blue Jays. Actually,
yeah,
you should be able to separate them. Yeah.
Just because they're really good at home. I'm not sure what the spread is out at home, but I know in the playoffs at home, they're really tough to beat.
They're 37 and 22 at home.
Yeah. So they hit, dude. Like they hit. Pitching has been kind of shaky this year just because of injuries and such, but they can hit it. So yeah. Next up, Brewers. What you think?
I think they're a low-end A-tier team. I think they're slightly below the Blue Jays, maybe just because their offense isn't up to par. But that pitching staff is nasty.
It's nasty. How do you deal one of the top closers in the league, and you still have a great bullpen? I mean, they still have Devin Williams.
Yeah, the best closer in baseball for the last 2 or 3 years. You just traded him away, and you haven't really fell off any.
This is like that other team that if they could hit, they would be close to an S tier team. They just don't have the roster that hits. Like if Yelich could, I mean, this is like, obviously a tall task, like a perfect what if scenario. But I mean, if Yelich went back to like MVP mode out of nowhere, I mean, who knows where they would go? Because they have some good players. Like Colton Wong is past his prime, but he's still a solid player. And Rowdy Tellez or whatever his name is, the first baseman, rakes. So it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's a matter of time for them to be really good. Like, and it's kind of like that Central Division is kind of up for grabs. It's funny that we have the Cardinals next, but I mean, the Cardinals are good, not great. They're super hot right now, but how long will that last?
Yeah.
They still are only at 60 wins. They're 5 games behind the Braves, but I mean, I would still put the Cardinals in that A section. I think if they got in the playoffs, they'd be a problem.
Yeah. I'm holding the Cardinals' future, so I'm going to put them A tier.
Okay. I think the Cardinals are better than the Brewers.
Okay. So yeah, they are a half a game up on the Brewers right now, but who would you rather play in the playoffs, the Brewers or the Cardinals?
If I'm the Braves, because there'll be a wild card. I'm sure, I don't know how the matchups work this year, but I would probably rather play the Brewers, I think, just because we beat them last year in the 3-game series. I don't know. I would have to look at the Cardinals. I don't know if I've watched the Cardinals play a single game this year. I'm going to be honest. For some reason, you just never hear about them. The only reason I hear about them is because Nikki G. And I don't know what it is. But, I mean, I know they're young and athletic, and they have the MVP frontrunner. But I don't even know who they're bringing out to pitch, to be honest.
Yeah, their offense is just super streaky to me, which is why I think I would rather play them, just because, like the Brewers, you know what you're getting. you're getting
right.
You got to beat Corbin Burns twice, which is tough to do. The Cardinals,
Right.
I mean, they went on a 7-game stretch where they scored like 1 run, and now they're playing the Yankees. They're scoring like 8 a game. So you just don't really know what you're going to get. Their offense stays like this, they'll be tough to beat.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you there. It's just tough. I don't know what it is about those central teams. Like, I feel like I'm always seeing the Cubs and like the Guardians play, but I just never really see like the Brewers or the Cardinals, like even on like the MLB app or nothing. It's super weird.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's not like they're in small cities, so it's just, I don't know, it's weird. The Cubs, I want to put them because they're obviously rebuilding. Like, I just feel so bad about putting them in the sell the team bottom tier, but I mean, they are tied with the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds right now for a record with 44 wins.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have to. I feel like you have to. I feel like they're the best D tier team.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I feel like they're definitely better than the Pirates and the Reds, but I don't know. It's just tough to put them there.
I think we'll cut the Cubs some slack and put them at the end of this C tier.
Okay.
Just because, like, it isn't the Cubs being one of the worst teams in baseball isn't normal. Like, that's not something we're really used to. It is weird that they had, Contreras and Happ and just didn't trade either one. So maybe they expect to, sign, because Contreras has to be one of the best catchers in baseball. You probably could have got a good haul from that.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I don't really know why they held on to him. Maybe they think they can re-sign him, and if they do, then that kind of changes the outlook on them. So if they stink again next year, then I think that puts them in the sell the team category.
Right. I'm with you. Diamondbacks, I think they're C. I mean, they're really on the come up. Last year, sell the team immediately as fast as possible. This year, they're kind of tough. I mean, they had a winning record after like the first third of the season.
They're a team that I've followed a good bit, like gambling. I bet on them at home and against them on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're a scrappy team. They're 19-31 on the road. So if they were 500 on the road, they would have a pretty good record.
Yeah. So what do you think? C tier?
I'd say C tier. I think they have some decent young talent. Plus, their farm system, outfielder wise, is going to be nasty if they can keep all of them together.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They still have some dudes too. Like, I mean, Bumgarner isn't a slouch, even though I hate him, and I just hate his attitude, I guess. But you also have Ketel Marte, who's just an absolute baller.
Yep.
Next, the Dodgers. I think this one's pretty easy. Probably the best team, or they're probably the best team right now, for now, in the league. They have a great record. I mean, they just have an all-star lineup, it feels like. I mean, I don't know how I really don't know how they do it. But they're just rolling right now. It's like a golden era for the Dodgers too.
Yeah, they're 76-33. They're 39-15 at home and 37-18 on the road. 9 of their last 10. So there's no fall off there. Like you're 37-18 on the road. That's very impressive.
It's crazy. Next is the Giants. I think we get our first B team. I mean, they're a solid team. They were really good last year, but they just don't have that same juice that they had last year. So to me, I would have them as a B team. I'd leave it up to you though.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're completely average, middle of the road team.
You know, they'll beat you in a series at home. Not really scared. If you get them at your place, kind of deal. I don't know. But I mean, I still think like it seems like they're like it's just a franchise that just has it together too. I guess because they're just holding on for dear life, and they're like last year. I mean, they had over 100 wins. Just
Yeah, with their
in a year,
roster
like
is
just
nothing
great.
special.
No, it's so weird. But anyways, next one, Cleveland Indian Guardians. Which thing? I
I
mean,
think
they
they're B
lead their
tier.
division somehow. Yeah, I think they're B tier too. They're at like 57 wins. It's just so weird. I feel like they're bad. Like I feel like they're not good, but they're leading their division. You know what I mean? Like in my head, I'm like, oh, they're not any good. And you look and like they're well above 500, leading their divisions. I don't know. It's just weird. I feel like it's
5
such a
games over
fall off in
500.
the American League.
Both Centrals
Yeah,
stink. Like no
yeah,
team from either side in the Central scares me at all.
no, at all. Except Corbin Burns by himself. That's it.
Yeah, that's basically it.
So Seattle Mariners, I would put them in the A tier. I mean, they're right there with all those other teams, like wild card. I mean, they're gonna be a problem in a couple years, especially. But this year, I mean, if I'm I'm not really sure how it would work, but if I'm the Guardians, I do not want to play the Mariners. Like that's terrifying to me in the playoffs.
Yeah, I would put them B tier, but I would put them like the best B tier team that there is.
I'm with
Because
that.
I think to me A tier is like you could win the World Series. I don't think they're there yet.
Okay. See, I was thinking like A tier. A tier was like making the playoffs and like winning, like probably winning a series. But I would say I like that better. I like A tier is like you could pop off and win the World Series. B tier
Right.
is you could make it.
Yeah, you might sneak into the playoffs.
Right. Marlins, I think they're just your standard C level team. They have a good pitching staff. Like they're going to be good, but they're just not there yet.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'd probably put them between the Angels and Diamondbacks. Or maybe even before the Angels, honestly.
They just can
Either way,
pitch, man.
yeah, they have guys you've never heard of that are just pretty solid.
Yep. Next is the Mets. I wish we could just delete them off the list. Probably my least favorite team in baseball. Besides the Red Sox, of course. And it hurts me, but they're right there. They're right there on the S tier. But I also feel like it's just their year. Like they're just hot. I saw some guy breaking down all the like next level numbers, like to hitting, like hard ball rate and all that kind of stuff, like per team. And they were like middle of the road all through the first half, whereas like the Braves were like leading the league. And then it kind of balanced out, and that's when we went on our hot streak, and everything kind of started falling for us. But like, it's they just get hits, I guess, and I don't know. It's just so weird looking at their numbers because they don't make sense. Like at some point, the bubble has to burst. I feel like, but it just never does. Like they just stay hot. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, their pitching staff, you kind of know what you're getting. You get DeGrom and Scherzer in the playoffs with Diaz coming out of the bullpen. That's probably as good as it gets as a 1-2 punch with a bullpen guy. And then like you said, their offense is somehow, it don't really jump off the page to you, but somehow it works.
Yeah, somehow it's so annoying too. Watching them. I mean, they just scrap runs.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. Washington Nationals. It's a team I've seen with my own eyes, and that was when they had their better players. And I would still put them at D, like sell the team as fast as possible. I would actually do that. I think their farm system's gonna like it's gonna hold together though. The pieces they got for Juan Soto are gonna be good. Like you said in a previous episode, that they'll be all stars, and in a couple years, I think they'll be right up there with Along with the Marlins, they're still on the come up, but I think they're both like potentially B teams here if we were, ranking them off of this list.
Yeah, I just feel like they're both just kind of know what they are and, both sold everything that they had to get prospects, knowing like they had no chance of winning it this year. You might as well trade for, get some value out of some of these guys.
Definitely. I'm definitely with you on that. Next is the Orioles. This is kind of weird because I feel like at the beginning of the season, they started in the sell the team immediately. But now I think they've climbed up to that B spot. I mean, I feel like they deserve a shot. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're there. I don't think if they were to make the playoffs, they would make any kind of noise. But, I mean, they're playing in the hardest division in the country or in the league, and I mean they're making waves. So I mean they don't even have that good of a roster. Is what's crazy.
They were sellers at the deadline.
Yeah, they got better. They sold. It's so weird to me. That guy was a good pitcher, but you don't need him right now. You don't need a top reliever right now. So it made total sense. So where would you put them? I'll let you have the final vote on this one.
I'm gonna put them like top of the B tier, maybe right behind the Mariners. Like they're 58 and 52.
Right.
Like they're two games behind the Blue Jays, who is the American League favorite. They're tied with the Rays, who's one of the best, like consistently teams in baseball. One of the best ran teams in baseball.
Yeah, I love it. I'm here for it. Next we have the Padres. This one's kind of tricky because I think if they, I think they're going to make the playoffs, and I'm honestly would be terrified to play them in the playoffs just because of their pitching staff and the moves they made. I mean, they're almost right there with the Dodgers with the lineup, like in the National League. Like I would much rather face the Mets lineup than I would the Padres lineup.
Yeah,
every day of the week. I think the Padres would go right in between the Braves and the Blue Jays, or after the Blue Jays. I think they're kind of even with the Blue Jays.
I do too. I agree with you. And this could end up being egg on our face just because their offense hasn't started clicking yet. But if it does, like, how are you going to stop
Watch out
lineup?
Yeah, no, you can't.
Especially, like, they still don't have their best player. Tatis is still out. So if he comes back and plays the way he does, Tatis, Soto, Machado, that's a scary lineup.
Cronenworth, Josh Bell. I mean, Josh Bell's we've talked about it before. Like, Josh Bell's so underrated. Switch hitting first baseman that just gets base knocks. Like, I mean, they have like an all-star team almost besides I don't think Profar is there yet, but I mean, pretty much everybody else.
Right.
It's crazy. Next to the Phillies, and the Phillies are kind of sneaky.
They're heating up.
They have 61 wins. I just don't know, man, like I just don't know if I would even put them up there on the A tier yet. I just don't know if they're there. I think they're good, but I wouldn't be scared to play them in the playoffs if it came down to it.
Yeah, I think they're B tier.
I think they're in front of the Orioles.
Might change it. A healthy Bryce Harper might change the way this looks, but Bryce Harper being out, I think they're B tier at best.
Very true. Pirates. I think the Pirates are low key on a come up.
Sell the team.
They're the best sell the team there is. You can't tell me they're not. They have Brian Reynolds, O'Neal Cruz, and that's kind of where it ends. But those two dudes are pretty electric.
If you look at, like, I've seen, I don't know why this has become a trend, but they're posting like teams that drafted players. Have you seen that going around? Where they show like everyone's rotation,
where they're at now,
and where they're at now.
Everybody,
the Yankees
everybody
was Pirates, Yankees, Pirates, Yankees, Yankees. Like, the Pirates have basically been like the Pirates had Garrett Cole, Jameson Taillon, and now they just traded him to the Yankees. Or Garrett Cole signed with the Yankees, but Jameson Taillon was traded. And like Clay Holmes came from the Pirates.
Right.
I feel like they're like a
they're
major
just
league
always selling. Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of like the Orioles with pitchers too. There's a lot of pitchers that were with the Orioles that got dealt away and then just come up and be really good.
The Tigers the same way.
Tigers are the same way. What was like 2012 Tigers team is like
Scherzer,
could beat up on
David Price,
anybody today.
Verlander,
ridiculous. Zimmerman,
yeah, and they have the best park in baseball.
Yeah, I mean it is consistently voted the best park.
Also, I love the way Pittsburgh, all three teams just wear the same colors. Like,
yeah, I think that's cool.
How the world should be.
Yeah, I agree. Next team, Texas Rangers. What's your thoughts?
I think that's another one. Like, they've tried, but I mean, maybe C tier, but they're borderline sell the team as well.
I would say C tier just because of these things. They have is Pedro Lopez, the pitcher that's like really good this year.
I don't know which Lopez it is. It's with them.
I can't
Pablo's
remember. Anyways,
with the one of Lopez.
Their ace is really good. They have Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, and one more guy. Their catcher is really good. I cannot remember his name. Yes, Jonah Heim. And that's why they have a couple other pieces, but those core pieces are why I would put them on the C tier rather than sell the team. Like, they have something to build around. Brand new park. It's just if they can take advantage of it and make the right moves.
Martin Perez,
that's what it is. So I would put them right there.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying, but still, like, signing 2 shortstops doesn't feel like you're really trying to me. It's just like you're spending money just because. It didn't really feel like they were trying to build a winning team.
Right. No, I'm with you. I just wouldn't put them on the they have better rosters than those sell now teams. Just because they did try.
Yeah.
Next is the Rays. Pretty tough one for me.
B tier? Like, do you think they're better than the Mariners?
No.
I
feel like they're right behind the Mariners.
They're just so well ran, though.
Yeah. I mean, like, they have dudes that I would not want to face in a one-game setting.
Just because you never know. Like, they bring guys just out of nowhere, and they're great.
Yep. I would put them. Yeah, I think that's right. That feels right. They don't deserve to be up here yet.
No.
Previous years, yes. This year, no. This one is probably the one I've been waiting for the most. I think they're borderline, dude. They are borderline sell it all.
They're sell the team. They're behind the A's. They traded Hunter Renfroe for Jackie Bradley. They cut Jackie Bradley like 6 months later. They had Mookie Betts, who is an MVP. They trade him for Alex Verdugo, who thinks he's very good, but really, like, fans can make this guy go sit in his locker and cry. To me, it's just automatic sell the team. Yeah, make sure you put them in the back too.
Oh, they're back there, buddy. They are back there. Yeah, I hope we don't just catch heat, and we just pop on fire. I mean, I'm gonna get beat up. I'm already wearing a Jeter jersey, which I've been advised not to. I've been advised to go neutral, and they're like, hey, they're a rowdy bunch up there against Yankees fans. Well, I'm pretty rowdy too. You know what I mean? So I just hope we don't catch fire because I don't know if they'll let me in the city. They'll probably stop me at the airport, make me go through customs. Um, pretty awesome. We have two sell immediatelys. I mean, there's really not even much to talk about. They're terrible. I do want to call out the Cincinnati Reds, as we were talking about. They do have a pitcher that went to Huntsville High. His name's Graham Ashcraft. If you have not seen him throw, you need to see him throw because he throws like 101 mile an hour cutters. And I just think it's really cool to see. Not many dudes doing that. And he's from, our own backyard.
And to me, the Reds actually made a lot of good moves like last year, the year before, and then it just didn't work. And now I just feel like they're just kind of rebuilding, like trying to get to that state again. Like when they signed Nick Castellanos and they had Suarez and Jesse Winker, like their offense was pretty good. But now, I mean, you traded your ace to the Mariners.
And Brandon Drury. So, I mean, I don't know. They're just going to have to restart.
Yeah.
Next up, Colorado Rockies. I think they're right there with the Pirates is where I would put them. Yeah.
I think they're sell the team. Move the Reds.
There's just nothing notable about them.
Move the Reds in front of the Nationals.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that works.
That a little better.
Next team, Kansas City Royals.
Sell them. Get them out of here.
They're top. They're better than the Pirates, though.
They
got Bobby Witt Jr.
66. You said they're better than the Pirates?
I think so.
When the Pirates have O'Neal Cruz.
Yeah, but the Royals have Bobby Witt Jr.
They literally have the same record. I'm fine with putting them side by side. Yeah. It don't matter either way. Yeah.
Put them over each other. I like the Pirates bolder. We'll just go ahead. Detroit Tigers, sell them. I don't move the fences in, make it more interesting. I don't know. I don't even know where to put them.
Sneaky good park there too, though. I hear a lot of people are pretty high on Detroit's park.
It looks cool. It definitely looks cool.
They have like a. At least I've heard. I've never been there, but they have like a different section of history, baseball history, in each section. So it's almost like a museum, like within the stadium that you can just kind of see. So that is pretty cool.
That's neat. Next team, Minnesota Twins. I think they're right there with the Indians. I mean, they're right there with them in record too. They won't make the playoffs unless they win the division, but I don't know. I don't think they're a bad team.
Yeah, I think they're like low B, high C, somewhere in there. I would probably put them low B. Because like you said, they might win their division, but they're really not a threat. Like I hope they win their division because the Yankees historically thump the Twins every time we play them in the playoffs. So I would love that to be our first round draw.
Yeah, that will be awesome. So the next is the Chicago White Sox. I saw something today that they have injured this season every part of the body that you can injure. So probably the unluckiest team of the year, I would say, because I mean I honestly thought they had a roster to be up there with like those A tier teams. I mean, I thought they were going to be really good, and they just are not. So I guess a C tier because like they're not. You don't sell them; they're just hurt. What?
Well, this might be a sell the team.
What do you mean?
They
have nobody. They have nobody healthy. They've been hurt all year.
The White Sox were supposed to win this division by far, and they have not.
Because they're hurt. It's not that they're not playing well. They're not playing at all. You can't sell them.
I don't like the White Sox at all. To me, it goes Red Sox, White Sox.
See, I just don't agree. I can't do that.
Both teams, like, there's no creativeness there. There's different colored socks.
I mean, no, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I think that the White Sox at least tried, and they have cool looking uniforms, though. They have cool uniforms.
And Shoeless Joe didn't throw the World Series. So, what are you thinking? High C or low B?
No.
You're putting them low C?
They're hurt. They're terrible.
They're still above 500.
You don't sell them. Are they?
Yeah, they're 56 and 54. They're a game and a half back. So, I mean, even being hurt, they could still make the playoffs.
I don't know, man.
They might be a low-end B-tier team. Like, there's a game and a half between the Guardians, the Twins, and the White Sox. Yeah,
I guess you have to put them there. It just doesn't. If they were healthy, it's just such a disappointment is my thing. Like, they were supposed to win the division and compete with the Yankees this year. And they have injured literally every part of your body that you can injure, and they're not as good. But I mean, they still have a winning record, so I'll give it to them.
Which they are in the easiest division in baseball.
Very true. Very true. So probably save the best for last year. The New York Yankees. We're just going to go ahead and put them right there. I think that the Dodgers are better right now, but if they met up in the playoffs, the Yankees would win, in my opinion. I don't think that this is what's tough about the Dodgers. They have good players throughout, right? Max Muncy, Cody Bellinger. But those dudes were great previously. This year are having terrible seasons. I mean, like, awful seasons. So I think that the Yankees definitely have the upper edge there.
Max Muncy and Cody Bellinger should be getting the Joey Gallo treatment. The only reason they don't is because 100%. They're out west. They both, since the Gallo trade to the Yankees this time last year, Gallo was the worst batting average in baseball, and I'm pretty sure Muncy and Bellinger were both top 5. Both of them have been awful the past year, 2 years, but like, the Dodgers just keep winning. Like, it's not a problem to them, so they're not really put on blast like that. But,
right.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree.
I just feel like the Yankees would be better. And I just don't know, man. Like, how many times have the Dodgers made it and not won? Like, literally every time except one Mickey Mouse year. So nothing feels different here with them to me. And their pitching isn't even as good as it has been. Everybody's hurt with them too. So you're going to tell me those dudes are just going to come back and be dominant in the playoffs? No way. That's not how that works.
They're another team that does do that, though.
What? That just throw players out of nowhere?
Yeah, like Tony Gonsolin had like the best record in baseball earlier this year, I think.
Yeah. No, you're right. He was like a Cy Young front runner at one point.
They're just a well-run team.
So,
like, you can't really knock the Dodgers at all. Wait, we're supposed to be talking about the Yankees.
I just hate the Dodgers. But, yeah, the Yankees, Garrett Cole, as long as he's not facing Rafael Devers, I think he's fine.
Garrett Cole
Go
ahead.
He's so frustrating to me. He just has, like, it's like once a year, twice a year, once a half. He just has this, he'll come out, and it's like, I always say, like, can we get a restart? Because it'll be like no outs, 1 out, and you've given up 4 or 5 runs off of like 1 or 2 mistakes. I hate it for him. But but I feel like he's always kind of been like that. He's always been that kind of pitcher.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of like Verlander was. Like, Verlander led the league in strikeouts I think it was like 2018, 2019, but also led the league in home runs given up. So it's like just that style.
Yeah, like you've seen it from like I don't really know how to explain it, but like there's some guys that throw heavy balls and there's some guy that throws light balls. Like Garrett Cole is just one of those
Right.
guys. He just throws a light ball. If you barrel it up, it's probably going. But
Yep.
he's to me he's becoming the most underrated player in baseball because you never hear about his good outings and you only see his bad ones because of his contract.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
he like last night he went 7 innings, gave up like 4 hits, no runs,
Yep.
nothing. And
You're not going to hear about it.
you will never hear about that. But the next time he goes
Nope.
out and he gives up 4 runs, it's you're paying this guy $300 million. When really, to me, like he's been in the top 5, I think, in Cy Young for the past 3 years. No other pitcher's doing that. Like day in and day out, he is that dude. And it's just every 4 or 5 starts, usually in prime time is when he gives up big time hits and home runs. So really just show up in the playoffs. If you can win one World Series with Garrett Cole as your ace and him be the workhorse, that $300 million is worth it.
Definitely. I'm with you. I think this is the year. I mean, I really do. I just don't see they're all gonna come back. Playoff time, everybody's gonna be healthy, and it's just they're gonna be on a mission. I feel like they're just that team. They have too many vets in the locker room to like come in nervous. You know what I mean? Like there's just some teams like the Astros are that team. Like they make it to they play the whole season to get to the playoffs, and when they get to the playoffs, it's business. Like we're here to do this. Like we're the Astros. And I feel like the Yankees will come in. They're not going to have like the pressure, or they're not going to feel the pressure to perform. Like they're just going to go out and do it. That's just how it feels like watching them, like their body language and stuff like that in these big games, that they're just unbothered,
Right. They stay just cool, calm. I think they lead the league in walk-offs or comeback wins right now. So that's definitely something good going into the playoffs.
Definitely. Well, that finishes up for our tier maker.
You can save that and send it to me.
Okay. I will do that right there. Boom. So, getting a little pressed for time, but nothing crazy. You want to go? It's going to start this series with power rankings. We're going to do it every week, and it'll be whatever sports in season. Luckily for us, it's baseball this week. So, how do you want to do it? You want to go 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
I think we go 1 to 10. Do you want to go through your 10 and then I go through my 10, or do you want to go 1-1, 2-2?
Let's do 1-1. Let's just go 1-1, 2-2. Just go on like that.
My number one's the Dodgers.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. I'll go ahead and get it out of the way. Dodgers are 1 for me. They're the hottest team in baseball. I know I just said that I think the Yankees are a better team, and I do think the Yankees are a better team, but power rankings aren't what I think. It's what's going on right now, and the Dodgers are the best team right now.
2 for me is the Yankees. Even though they're I think they're 3-7 in their last 10, they're still, the Astros just tied them for the best record. So to me, you're going to have these skids where you go 3-7 or 2-8 or whatever it is, but I think they'll get back to form and hopefully heat back up at the right time.
Yeah. I have the Mets. I think it's just, again, I think the Yankees are better, but the Mets have been so hot, right? Like over the past, I mean, really the whole time. They've never really cooled off, and the Yankees are just kind of in a valley right now, and the Mets and Dodgers are kind of peaking right now, I would say. So I still think it's not a bad spot to be for the Yankees, but the Mets, I have it too.
Okay. 3 for me is the Astros. To me, it really just came down to, like who would I trust more in the playoffs? And to me, I trust the Astros more than I do the Mets. where I trust the Astros lineup more than I do the Mets. Even I'll have the Mets at 4, but when DeGrom goes, he's the best pitcher in baseball, but that doesn't guarantee a win. They've got a losing record when he pitches. So to me, it's the Astros. They've just kind of been there, done that.
Right. I have the Astros at 4. This is, and then really after this, it really falls off. This is like that S tier that we were talking about before. There's just a definitive line. I mean, you can even see it when you're looking at the records. Like there's just an obvious difference.
So you have the Yankees at 3?
Yankees at 3, Astros at 4.
So I have the Mets at 4.
Oh, did I skip the Yankees?
Yeah, but
my bad.
You kind of implied that they were at 3.
Yeah.
So top 4 for me: Dodgers, Yankees, Astros, Mets. In that order.
I had Dodgers, Mets, Yankees, Astros.
Which I agree. Top 4 is the S tier. The next 6, are still championship contenders, but I don't think they're front runners. No.
5 for me is the Braves. I think that they're a dangerous team. They're really not a team you want to see in the playoffs, to be honest. They kept all their core pieces, obviously, except Freddie, and then replaced them with Matt Olson. And they're just all still rolling. I mean, they started off cold in the season, and now they're hot again. Now they kind of cooled off, but I mean, I still wouldn't want to see them, especially if they have like home field, which I don't think they'll win their division, but it'll be tough. They'll be a tough one to play.
Yeah, they're definitely that next team up. Like if you put them in the NL Central or the AL Central, they're probably in that S tier. But just because of the way the Mets have just kind of handled things, the Mets have separated themselves from the Braves. It isn't necessarily a Braves thing because you don't want to play them in the playoffs. Yeah. They're solid. There's no holes in the Braves. Like they have a solid rotation, solid lineup. So yeah, I think they're the next team up.
Yeah, I agree. 6 for me. I know their offense hasn't clicked right with the new pieces, but they're just that team that's super scary to me personally, and it's the Padres. There's just something about them. I do not want to face them. They have a really light schedule coming up. I know they come to DC, play the Nationals this weekend, and I mean, I think it's going to be a matter of time before they just start wrecking teams.
Yeah, I've got them at 6 as well. Like they don't have their best player.
Yeah.
So like that's scary. Machado was, in the front top 3. At one point he was MVP front runner for the NL before Goldschmidt heated up. So if he stays where he is, he's your worst 3 out of those 3. And he was in the conversation for the MVP. And they've got a pretty solid rotation. Like I don't want to face you, Darvish, in the playoffs.
Or Joe Musgrove.
Yeah, or Musgrove. So, I think they're...
And now they have Hader out of the pen, too. So I know I said before it's about what you're doing now. And the Padres still are good. You can go look at their record, and I can argue with you about that. But, what's coming is why they're at 6. That's why. I mean, I hate to kind of contradict myself, but I feel like that's an exception.
Yeah, they're definitely a upside. Because if they do click, they could be like an S tier team.
Right. So 7, I think this is where we'll kind of get some changes or some differences. I have the Blue Jays. I mean, they're right there. They're second in the hardest division, even though, they're like 12 games back. But they can hit, man. They can hit and they can pitch it. I mean, they have a really good roster. Like they have a roster of an S tier team. You can't compete with the Yankees right now in that division. It's just impossible. It's just not meant to be for them. But I do think they deserve that 7 spot.
Yeah, it is funny because we didn't talk about this at all before the show started. And I've got the Blue Jays at 7. I think they're like if Vlad heats up, really that's the main thing is just Vlad's just kind of played pretty poorly. If he gets back to his regular self, they'll be they'll be dangerous. And I don't want to go to Toronto. Not in the playoffs. Not
No.
still thinking about Jose Bautista hitting a bomb. And it's when you go to Houston, you're facing, the city of Houston. When you go to Toronto, you're facing Canada. They have one team. Everybody that's, in the North America that's blocked off by the Great Wall up there, they all root for that same team. And that's hockey land. Like, these are the same people that'll murder you over a hockey game that have now just converted over to a baseball team, and they've all joined forces.
That's right. That's so funny. I agree with you, though. I mean, that's one place I do not want to go for a playoff game or a playoff series. For 8, I have the Cardinals, just because they've been so hot. They were probably not a top 10 team before this run they went on. They're 8-2 over the last 10 games. They just swept the Yankees. I feel like if you sweep the Yankees, you deserve a top 10 spot. And I thought they fit pretty well here at 8.
Yeah, first time the Yankees have been swept by a National League team in 15 years.
Yeah. That's saying something. 1, it's incredible to have that long of a streak to not be swept. 2, it's impressive to sweep the Yankees.
Yeah. To me, I have the Brewers. It came down to who I would put more faith in the playoffs, to where I think the Brewers almost give me a little bit of like the Nationals vibe when they won it all, where they're like 3 deep with a rotation and good bullpen, and if their offense just clicks, then they'll be dangerous.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair point.
And they're pretty even. I think they have like the same record basically. I think the Cardinals might be a half a game up, but like you said, they're like 9-1 in their last 10 or something like that. So, to my 9 spot's the Cardinals, for all the reasons you said.
I gotcha. My 9 spot is the Mariners. I just think they're just a dangerous team coming out of the West. Like, you don't really hear about them, and they've been pretty bad the past couple of years. But last year they had a really good year. They were over 90 wins, and I think this year they'll be right on track with that. They're just a solid team. They're on the come up. They have a lot of good young talent. I don't know. It just felt right. Felt right putting them there.
Yeah, the Mariners are my number 10 team for the same reasons you just said. I think they're a pretty solid team, and they're going and getting the pieces that they need. Plus, there's a guy on that team, Jesse Winker, who has a lot of dog in him. He's a guy you don't really hear much of, but he's the guy that he likes to poke the bear. He likes to play head games. He likes to, he just has that it factor to me, to where he can be the perfect role piece to be a leader of a team, a young team like the Mariners.
Yeah, I agree. My 10 spot is Philadelphia. The Phillies, they have a really good roster. They just cannot make it click for some reason. They cannot make it just work like it should. I mean, they should be right there, and they're just not. I think they're in the playoffs as of now, but they're just so wishy-washy. Can you put any faith in them? I don't know, but they're still scary to face. You know what I mean? In a 3-game series, I wouldn't want to see them particularly. They have a good rotation, but that's pretty much where it ends. They have a decent lineup, but they're just so inconsistent.
I just feel like their defense might hurt them come playoff time.
Yeah,
like your defense.
That's what I was going to say.
And your bullpen kind of get exposed come playoff time, and I feel like their defense is so bad they would get ran off the field.
Yeah, really, any National League team that makes it.
Yeah, I would agree, but I think they deserve a spot just how hot they've been. So I'm glad you got them on there.
Yeah, they have 61 wins. They have more wins than the Cardinals and the Brewers. So, and they're 4th or 3rd in the East. So, kind of like that same situation with on a smaller scale with the Rays. They're a great team, but it's just the toughest. It's the toughest time to be a decent team in that AL East.
Yes, I agree.
But that I think that pretty much wraps us up. Pretty good episode, I would say.
Yeah,
I always love the tier list.
I'm gonna enjoy the weekly power rankings too.
Yeah, me too. That's gonna be really fun in football. But all right, I think that that wraps us up. Let's have a good weekend. Y'all look for me on TV this weekend. I'll be the guy. If the camera shows me, I'll be lifting my shirt just because I've always wanted to do that. Show off my sweater. I think it's hilarious. All right. Y'all